A long time ago, in the year of 1998, a retro game enthusiast could walk into his or her local FuncoLand and pick up a copy of Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt for 19 cents. While they were in that FuncoLand, they could grab a copy of Power Blade 2 for $1.99. And if they happened to have a little extra ching-ching, they could pick up Little Samson for $6.99. In today's episode, we're going to match those prices up against inflation and see what the inflation has been in the retro gaming market. Old school collectors seem to have a negative view of modern day collectors who buy and resell to achieve their game collecting goals. Is buying and selling and flipping your way to a video game collection scummy, or is it a necessity for video game collecting survival? In today's episode, Gaming Off the Grid comes to the defense of the video game reseller.
Cut the music! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Retro Rivals is proud to bring to you its YouTube Tag Team Champions of the World! Gaming Off the Grid!
And if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for ya. Game on!
We want to start this off by saying in no means do we mean to be controversial, but a few folks in the retro game community that we highly respect, that we call dear friends, Tom from Do You Nerd, Riff from Pixel Game Squad, have said in conversations or in videos, however it was, that flipping video games, we never used to buy video games to sell them for profit. And Tom mentioned to me like video game resellers and their YouTube videos are driving up the market. There's just kind of this negative viewpoint, I feel like, on channels or people that flip for their collection. Now, I don't think Riff or Tom are negative people. They're very positive people, and I don't think they look bad on us or folks like Retro Rick or anybody that does those things. But I feel like in the back of their mind, there's that feeling like, man, back in the day, we didn't used to do this to achieve our game collection. And I kind of sense they look at it as like a scummy practice, if you will. That's just my view on
used car salesman.
Yeah, me kind of churning what they're saying and kind of taking a stance on how I feel they perceive the practice.
How dare you, slimy, sleazy, used car salesman, boo-boo collectors taint the world of retro collecting with your flipping and reselling and lack of love for retro video games and nostalgia. I can't even get through that straight face because honestly, it's all good. I know what you're about to watch. There's 2 different sides to this opinion, and the guys at Gaming Off the Grid were like, hey, we mentioned you. We want to make sure you're cool, that there's no beef, that you don't think we're being rude or trying to step on your toes. No. There's 2 different sides to the retro collecting world. Some that are do a little bit more the pure way, whatever you want to call it. The way that I've talked about before and the way these guys are talking about. I don't think there's any right or wrong way. Difference of opinion is a good thing in the world. More people in the world need to know that it's okay to disagree with certain things and still be cool with each other at the end of the day. I mean, in the long run, we all know that I have the pure heart for retro, but that's just what it is. No, I'm just kidding again. It's all good. I'm enjoy the video, people. I just wanted to tell these guys that like, hey, yeah, you're totally cool. Don't think you're stepping on toes, not stepping on my toes. Everything's Gucci, all right? I love you guys, Wes and Robert. If you're watching this channel, Gaming Off the Grid, you're doing your life right. Okay, now, bye-bye then.
I mean, I see where they're coming from, obviously, because we're picking up games at a really good price and then reselling them to people for a more expensive price for profit. But we're taking that profit and getting games that we want to get. We're selling games we don't want. We're putting in time. We're putting in sweat.
Yeah.
We're putting in... Okay, just pause for a second. We're putting in so much time, guys.
Sweat
hunting.
Equity. Yeah.
Hunting, going to thrift stores. We go to thrift stores every single day. Half the time, we don't find anything.
Yeah, so I kind of look at it this way. Maybe this is just me trying to pad my own landing. But I look at it as like that person on the other end of eBay maybe doesn't have the time to go out and collect things or hunt for things.
We're not taking advantage of them.
Or find those things. So they're sacrificing what they can't put forward for time, for price, because they're paying me for not only the game, but for the time that it took me to find the game, because I put a lot of that in there. Now, anybody could go out and do those things if they wish to build their collection that way. But it kind of boils down to, I think, a lot of math and a lot of numbers as to why, because I used to not do this. I used to only go to garage sales and thrift stores looking for video games. Now, I look for movies, video games, toys, VCRs, old boom boxes.
Anything you can flip.
Because prior to us starting this channel, I had my games in totes. I built this game room probably 6 months or so before we started the channel. And then I started getting the game room going. You and I were becoming better friends. And I was like, dude, this could be a real thing. And here we are. But my games were in totes. And I just was at a point where it was no longer fun for me to collect. And because I'm not going to spend my hard-earned paycheck, my income, that I am, as a 30-something-year-old individual need to be, saving for retirement, doing responsible things. So how can I keep doing this hobby that has become unattainable? And I think the math can speak to how unobtainable this is and why folks that used to collect back in the day maybe don't quite correlate how hard it is to continue going or keep going in today's market. $1, we're just going to use 1998 because we found a FuncoLand flyer from 1998.
Which is so cool to look at. It's
very cool.
Very cool.
We're going to use that as the starting point. We'll use the end point as 2021. So $1 in 1998 is equivalent through inflation to about $1.60 in today's standards.
So a 60% increase, which is kind of crazy. But when you think about it, it's like, only 60 cents.
Yeah.
But when you add that to like $100, that's $60. Like, that's a lot of money.
So, in that vein, we have a 60% increase in the $1 in 98 to the $1 in 2021. So we're going to talk about some retro games and what they were worth at FuncoLand, which is probably, I got to think it's maybe over market a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Because you're walking into a store, paying it, store price, and what those games are worth today, according to PriceCharter.com, and trying to factor in maybe some repros being in there, but giving you a ballpark. Now, the games we picked are kind of the dingers. They probably illustrate our story more to a point, so I think our numbers may be inflated. I think it's fair to get that out there.
We just picked 5 games.
But I want this to get your mind in this realm of this argument. So you could walk into FuncoLand in 1998, and you can get a copy of Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt, the most probably common NES game that everyone ever had, for 19 cents.
Which is like, nowadays, like just pocket change.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all, dropped a quarter on the ground and questioned, do I bend over and pick that up?
No, most of us leave it.
Yeah, but whatever. But that game today is $5.
Yeah, which is still like $5. You can get a full-on for that.
In the scope of money, that's still like over a 2,000% increase.
I think it's a 2,500% increase, which doesn't seem like a lot because it's like, $5, that's nothing.
But the percentage matters.
Yes.
It doesn't seem crazy.
2,500%.
So as we look at some of these things and paint a picture of what it was like to maybe walk in, and you walk up to the game case and you are asking for Power Blade 2. That game is a holy grail for me. We have Power Blade 1. You know how bad I want the game. I know how bad you want the game.
Dude, yeah, that's a holy grail for the channel.
We have a whole series planned on hunting for Power Blade 2 in 2021.
Yes, like it's coming. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get it.
Yeah. But you could walk into FuncoLand in 1998 and pick up Power Blade 2 for $1.99.
$1.99?
You guys know that game, I'm not going to... $500. I mean, it's probably a $400 to $500 game here in 2020. You can keep going even on the Sega Genesis. You look at a game like The Punisher, which is another one that's on our list.
And that game's so badass.
That we want to pick up. We've got the arcade version, but we really want the Genesis version. And that game back then wasn't super cheap. It was $12.99. That seems a little,
a little steep.
Yeah. But today that game sells all day long CIB for freaking $300.
That's insane.
The story just continues.
Well, so if you take the 3 games that we talked about and you add that 60% inflation rate. So, Super Mario Bros, 19 cents, that equates to 30 cents today. Punisher, $12.99, that's about $21. That's still, I'd buy Punisher for $21.
And that's if these games are keeping up with the inflation rate.
This is just the average, the 60% inflation rate. Power Blade 2 with inflation rate, $3
is what it should be.
Why? But if that was $3, we'd have a million copies.
You know, Little Samson, right? Ooh. A game that I don't even really care to own. I have no nostalgia for the game. But in 1998, you could walk in and pick up the game for $6.99. We all know how much that goes for. $900, $800, $1,000. I think if you find the right person at a con, you could probably say, man, I'll buy some other stuff. Come on, I'll give you $750, $800. You might be able to get the game.
That's over, that's like a paycheck.
Even games that don't have a huge spike, but like Mega Man 5. You know, you're looking at $24.99 is what FuncoLand was selling it for. So Mega Man 5 was always kind of a thing. But now it's like $70, $80.
That's insane.
Guys, the games we're highlighting today, you look at a 60% inflation rate over an inflation rate of nearly 3,000. It's over 3,000.
Yeah, so just on the couple games that we're talking about, we averaged the numbers and that's how we got our numbers.
So 60% versus 3,000%
just for video games. Why?
In such it seems like a long time, and it is, but it's like 22 years, let's call it. A 3,000% price increase.
I do get for some of these the rarity, the limited print, the blah blah blah. But even Mario Bros, the most common, so 2,500% increase.
So you get in then to this argument: what came first, the chicken or the egg? Right? You know, I hear all the time, you know. I can say a buddy of ours. I can't say a friend because we haven't got to hang out with him enough. But Metal Jesus Rocks, guy I really respect, motivated me heavily to get into YouTube, and we've had a beer with him and talked to him several times. So I think he's a buddy at this point.
He's a buddy.
But a lot of people say Metal Jesus and channels of the like have driven up the price of retro games. Man, maybe temporarily, but I look at that as like,
it's
you know what?
Spike.
Those are games that I maybe wouldn't even have been looking for had he not talked about them. And so I'm kind of grateful that he put them on my radar, and maybe the price went up a little bit. But I think those are short-term spikes that you see.
Yeah, it's not affecting the percentages.
With the spike here, are we saying that YouTubers caused a 3,000% spike in video game pricing?
No way.
I mean, are we putting that all on YouTubers? Wow. I gotta think, maybe not. So those are the numbers. Now here is the boots on the ground, real life stuff. You don't go to thrift stores anymore, garage sales anymore, all these places, and we probably hit 1,000 garage sales this last season. I would say
we hit so
ground
many,
pound it hard. I can count on one hand the times we found cartridges. I found Contra Alien Wars. We had the sale where we found the Atari games.
We found Power Blade, the first one.
The NES games. And honestly, I can't think other than those three.
Other than that.
Where did we find cartridge-based stuff other than that?
You don't. I mean, you found Genesis games at a thrift store.
Yeah, but we were asking at every single garage sale. Now, we're finding a ton of disc-based stuff. But what I'm getting at is the days are gone of walking into a Goodwill, which most of them anymore price check and they know what they have, of finding these retro games, going to flea markets, going to garage sales, and finding these games in a box, and you can say, hey, that's a box of retro games. I'll give you $50 for it. That's not happening anymore.
No, it's not. Now, I'm not defending all resellers because I know there are some that are bad. Scalpers, for example, they'll go out and buy all the new stuff so no one else can have it.
The PS5, for example,
and then sell it for so much more. Or for music, we love music, concert tickets. They'll buy 1,000 concert tickets and then be like, oh, if you want to see the show, pay me 3 times the money.
Yeah.
We're not defending those people. We're defending...
That's different.
Yeah, it's different.
I think it's the folks out grabbing Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
Mario Galaxy 2, finding Rock Band 3, finding Def Jam Vendetta on PS2.
Ooh, yeah.
And buying those games for $2 to $3 at a garage sale or thrift store and saying, man, with what I could sell these for, I could afford to buy Mega Man 5 for $80.
Yeah.
Because I can't, with my family, my household, I can't get myself to spend my hard-earned income. I can't get myself to spend $80 on an old NES game.
On a Mega Man
Yeah.
game. What's crazy is, like, for example, you found Skies of Arcadia for $1.
Yeah.
And that goes for $150. And people were like, why did you sell it? That profit is insane, dude. With that sell, we got a game that we wanted, hardcore, after hardcore.
So,
like, that's...
and we've wanted that game for so long. We've seen it at cons multiple times.
Yeah.
We're like, dude, should we do it? And we're like, no, we can't spend $100 on a video game.
But then you got $150 of profit that wasn't your hard-earned money because you found a game in the wild that you could flip for that much.
Yeah.
I know it does seem like, oh, you found it for $1, you sold it for $150. That's a little weird. But think about that. We dug through trash. Like it's crazy.
I just think that it's an old school versus new school view. And again, it's worth noting. The reason for this episode came to my mind through things that Riff has said, things that Tom have said, and these are people we highly respect and we consider friends. Like really freaking good friends. But I think their collecting started at a different point in time
than when we did,
And I think if they were to completely vacate their collections and start collecting today, they would maybe find that, wow, I've got to find a way to be able to get the things I'm passionate about, nostalgic for, that give me the warm and fuzzies, that isn't so expensive. And I really, really feel that. And I think, we mentioned Retro Rick. I think Retro Rick has done a good job with his $10 game challenge.
Which is crazy,
I think so many people see YouTube videos, whether it's Metal Jesus, Pixel Game Squad, Do You Nerd, us, all these great content creators. And I think they look at it and they're like, man, that's so cool, but I can't do that. I can't afford that.
You can.
And I think Retro Rick has like cast light on like, yes, you can, but it's not the same way that it maybe was when you were watching the Game Chasers 5 to 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You're not, you gotta know, when you're going to a garage sale, that one sale that we went to this year where we found 5 to 10 NES games and Power Blade 1 was in there, that was 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah. But
1 out of 1,000.
Also, just like, and we knew that was a holy grail garage sale, and we were like,
the lesser stories are the maybe 500 of those 1,000 garage sales where we found Guitar Hero 3 Warriors of Rock on the Wii, which is like a $20 game, and we sold it for $20 to $22 and we got it for $1.
That profit.
Those don't land the same as that old school era, but it's like, man, I spent $1, sold it for $22.
That's insane profit, and that's just added to the bottom line that we can use to buy games that we want. Cartridge-based things.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that when like a hunting video comes out, I look at what like Retro Rick is doing, and we have such a small audience, so I'm not even putting us in the same realm of Retro Rick. But when we do our hunting videos, I look at those as like helping the viewer. Like,
guys, look at what we found. Keep your eyes open for this.
When you're at whatever, Goodwill, look for this DVD.
If you find a DVD,
look for this stupid Wii game that for whatever reason's $20, because you can then turn that into a badass Genesis, Super Nintendo game or NES game, because you're not going to find that unless you pay whatever the market bears, which is, we're looking literally thousands of % increase on what that market bears. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's not a scummy thing.
I feel like in this day and age, it's a necessity. I feel like you have to do it in order to be a normal human. You can't go out as an adult. I know I'm younger than a lot of people, but you can't go out as a functioning adult and go spend hundreds of dollars on video games and have a normal life.
Yeah,
you can't afford to pay your family, afford to pay your bills.
Yeah, and
I don't have a lot of families.
It's one of those things. I feel like my game hunting or flipping endeavors, I'm doing it because I'm in a dogfight.
Yeah.
To defend my passion. And it's my means to survival in the realm of my passion, because I literally 3 years ago was like on the fence of like, dude, I'm just going to sell my stuff.
And you're like, I might be over it.
Because I can't get the things I want. They're too expensive. And
now...
Then I kind of got re-energized and I started like learning the market. And man, maybe I'm just looking at it wrong, but I'm like, man, is that scummy? Is that scummy to do to survive. And you know what came first? Our Retro Rick's channels, our videos like our hunting videos, again, way smaller scale, but are those driving up the market, or are those helping people keep their passion alive? I tend to side, and maybe this is just me trying to defend myself, but I try to side with, we are helping other folks out there keep their passion alive.
I feel like I already said it's a necessity. You can't just go out and buy freaking Power Blade 2 with your hard-earned money. You have to if you can flip to it and not and I feel like the joys of flipping and all that comes along with it, it's just fun.
It is fun.
And it's just,
dude, all the time we're texting back and forth like, holy shit, dude.
You found that?
And then this just sold for this, and it's like, what the F?
Oh my gosh. So what can we get with that?
So, you look at it, like, let's say we took the other side of the coin, right?
Okay.
Let's say, as friends, we're like, dude, yeah, this just isn't right. We can't do this anymore. Other people are going to keep doing it. The only drawback is we can't collect anymore. Because game hunting videos, it's a thing. They're going to be out there forever. If we stop doing it, someone's going to fill the void. What I'm getting at is the train's already on the tracks.
Yeah.
There's no slowing the train down. So you either play the game or you get left in the dust because you're unwilling to play the game.
Well,
that's just how it is.
What's crazy, that makes me think of that story of every time that you go thrifting, there's a guy that's always there and he follows you. There's a guy that's on the same path of him hunting, and he's always picking up. There's other hunters out there. You may not notice them, but there are some people that do flipping for a living. And I'm not talking about video games. They just flip everything.
Purses, shoes.
You can do it. This can apply to everything. You can do it for a living. That's how important it is. And I feel like if you can do it for a living, that just speaks to our point. Like, you can make crazy money. And I don't think, because it's out there. Anyone can, if you just want to go get it, you can go get it. It's out there.
I kind of feel like there is something to be said, and I already mentioned it, but someone on the other end of that transaction, it's like, man, I wish I could go out hunting. I wish I could do this stuff. And you know what? I'm guessing this guy on the other end, that Mario Galaxy 2 he's selling, he probably got for $3 to $4, but I didn't have the 1 hour on my way home from work to stop and hit thrift store, so I'll pay him $17.99.
Yeah, and I want that game really bad.
It's convenience.
Yeah, it's convenience.
And then, again, if you click pay, buy it now, pay now, you're making a choice. Like, I don't look at that as we're taking advantage of something.
No, we're not, because you don't have to click on this video. You don't have to click.
The only counter argument is at some point you're maybe kind of taking advantage of stores that don't do their research and don't know what their stuff is worth. There are people who turn it in, but they turn it into a donation center, or they put it out at their garage sale
for free.
So are you supposed to grab something at a garage sale that says $2 and walk up to them and say, "Hey, do you know this is worth $19?" Are you supposed to do that?
No, they're just. I feel like in that circumstance, they're just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Garage sales are just junk people don't care about. So if you find things that you care about, it's like it's a win-win.
Take your passion out of it and think about it like maybe this way. I think a lot of people maybe know of a scenario like this. You have a neighbor or a grandparent, an aunt or uncle, that they have a Toyota Corolla. It's got 187,000 miles on it, and they know the Kelly Blue Book on it is $4,000, but they know you need a freaking car. And they're like, hey, I'll sell it to you for $1,500. Do you say,
hey,
now...
It's actually worth $4,000.
It's actually worth... Yeah, I'm going to pay you Kelly Blue Book on it just because that's what the Blue Book says. I mean, come on. We get so honed in on our passions in the video games and whatever we're passionate about, that we don't think about other examples that are in the same type of realm. And that's just kind of how I look at it.
That's such a good example. I feel like that puts things into perspective. And I feel like, speaking of perspective, you want to talk about this beer?
I do.
This
Back Pocket Brew.
Yeah, this is That's Tight!
Yeah!
Volume 1 by Back Pocket. This is a double dry hopped hazy IPA with Strata, Galaxy, and El Dorado hops. What do you think?
That's way over my head what you just said. Man, not the IPA guy here, but it's just okay. I like it. There is something about it that is a little awkward on the flavor profile. I can't pinpoint it, but it's decent.
This, I will agree, there is something that's slightly off, but that's like maybe 5% of the whole beer. Besides that 5%, this is such a smooth, delicious, juicy, easy drinker. Like, this would be great on a hot summer day. Like this.
Here we go again.
This beer is so refreshing and crisp and light, and I feel like if this was like came in like 18 packs, I would drink this all the time. Like, this is like such a good beer.
It is enjoyable. I'm not liking it, but Back Pocket Brewing is probably one of our favorite Iowa breweries.
Yeah, they're definitely growing.
When you told me the style of the beer, I'm like, dude, this is gonna be a hammer. I don't think it's a hammer. It's okay. There is something just awkward on the profile, the way the aftertaste, the way it cascades over my tongue, and I'm kind of like, it's okay.
So I think like if you were to brand this beer, you'd say, that's loose.
I'd say
instead of tight.
I'd be like, man, that's cool. To say that's tight, I don't think this beer's super tight, but it's okay.
Yeah, but it's pretty tight.
But anyway, to wrap this episode up, we really wanted to like give our 2 cents on this topic and kind of come to the defense of resellers. I think that negative connotation of like, man, that guy I'm watching on YouTube, that freaking Retro Rick, that dude, he's buying that for $1 and selling it for 22. Yeah, he is. He's trying to survive.
Yep.
A 3,000% inflation rate,
if not more,
in his passion of video games. When you get into that sort of
when you look at the math,
wrap your mind around 60% inflation from 98 to 2021, and in the same time frame in video games, it's like north of 2,500, 3,000 maybe more telling our story than it really is. But let's just say 2,000%.
That's insane.
We're in a dogfight. We're in a dogfight, and if you don't want to step in and get doggy with the dogs, you're going to be hemorrhaging cash. It just is what it is. So that's our defense for doing what we do and how we have flipped our way
to this awesome, amazing
other than
room.
Blood, sweat, and tears and sweat equity to a free game collection. So anyway, game collectors, game flippers, resellers, we hope you feel defended. Those of you who don't agree with our methods, we still love you.
Yeah, we're not trying to attack you. We're just trying to be like, hey, look at our side of the story.
Yeah, look at the other side of the coin. I think sometimes it's just different sides of the same coin. We all love video games, and we just have different ways of getting there. And maybe our way of getting there was at a different point in time, so we don't understand the other way of getting there at a different point in time. Whoa. Wow.
Whoa.
I don't even know if I said that right, but I'm hoping I did, because we're going to wrap this up. We'll see you next time, right here on Gaming Off the Grid.
Okay, this is a double dry hopped hazy IPA with Strata
Ready?
Strata.
Give her a shot.
This is a new beer for us. Ooh, that's juicy.
It's a juicy sumbitch.
That's crispy. Yeah, wow. That kind of tastes like orange juice. There's that juice aspect to that. I like that a lot. It's very refreshing. Now I know that some resellers are bad. Like people that buy things immediately and like, what are they called? Sharks or? You know what I'm thinking about? Like people that buy like 1,000 PS5s.
It's hang on. A long time ago, in the year in 1998, a retro game enthusiast could walk into his or her local